The vast expanse of the universe hums in a silence so deep it feels alive. Every flicker of starlight, every pulse of radiation, every vibration in the blackness seems to whisper an impossible truth, that nothing is ever truly lost. From the birth of galaxies to the death of stars, energy shifts, transforms, and travels endlessly, carrying within it the memory of everything that has ever been. Imagine the moment of creation, not as an explosion but as a thought, a ripple in the dark fabric of nothingness stretching outward. In that first light, in that first wave of energy, the story of existence began to record itself, line by line, photon by photon, into the living diary of the cosmos. Human eyes look to the night sky and see emptiness, but what if that void is not empty at all? What if every beam of light, crossing billions of years of darkness, carries not just heat or motion, but remembrance? The universe, vast and cold, may in fact be alive with recollection, an infinite archive where every event leaves an impression, like fingerprints in eternity. The stars are the keepers of this cosmic memory, burning with information written not in ink, but in the subtle dance of particles and energy fields. Each atom in your body once belonged to a star that lived and died long before the Earth was born, and in that way you are part of the same record, a continuation of the energy that has never stopped remembering itself. Science tells us that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It only changes form, from light to heat, from sound to motion, from life to death and back again. But what if, in this endless transformation, energy carries something more? Not just existence but experience. Not just motion but memory. Perhaps the universe is not a machine at all, but a mind, one vast, slow, breathing consciousness made of light and matter, remembering everything it has ever become. The cosmic microwave background, the faint glow that fills the sky, is the echo of creation itself, the first memory of the universe. Beneath every scientific law lies an unspoken mystery. Why does energy behave as if it knows its past? Why do particles communicate across impossible distances? Why does every force seem to remember where it came from? These are not just questions of physics, they are questions of existence. The answer may lie in the idea that energy, the essence of all things, is the fabric of awareness itself. In the stillness between galaxies, energy lingers, not vanishing, not fading, only transforming, storing the impressions of every collision, every birth, every death. It's as though the universe itself keeps a diary written in the code of energy. And if energy remembers, then so do we. Every heartbeat, every thought, every emotion is an echo of that ancient pulse that began it all. The story of energy is not just a scientific one, it's a human one. Because if energy remembers everything, then you, me, and everything we touch are part of a grand, eternal memory. The light from distant stars isn't just a spectacle, it's history unfolding before our eyes, the universe remembering itself through us. And as we gaze upward, trying to understand where we came from, perhaps it is not we who are observing the cosmos, but the cosmos remembering itself through our gaze. In that realization lies a quiet, almost haunting beauty. Nothing is ever lost, not even a whisper in the void. Every sound, every moment, every breath becomes part of a universal memory that stretches beyond time. The energy that binds us all doesn't forget, it endures, forever carrying the essence of all that has ever been. And so, the universe continues to hum, endlessly, a timeless song of remembrance, the memory of the infinite, the energy that remembers everything. Deep beneath the surface of reality, far smaller than atoms and quieter than silence, matter begins to speak. It speaks not with words or images but through vibration, an invisible rhythm that pulses through the fabric of existence. Every particle, every quantum wave hums in resonance, creating a hidden language that underlies all creation. Scientists call it frequency, but perhaps it is something more, the forgotten language of matter itself. The universe does not build with bricks and mortar. It composes with oscillations, with the rise and fall of energy waves that sing the world into being. Imagine standing in a cathedral made not of stone, but of sound. Each frequency vibrates through space, weaving patterns that form everything from light to life. Atoms spin in endless dance, electrons flicker in and out of existence, and yet, beneath the apparent chaos there is harmony, a structure, a syntax, a meaning. This is the first clue that reality is not random but written. It is as though matter itself is speaking a language so ancient and intricate that only the universe can truly understand it. The forgotten language of matter is everywhere. It shapes the spiral of galaxies, the structure of DNA, and even the thoughts moving through the human brain. When you think, your neurons fire electrical impulses that create waves, measurable frequencies. When stars burn, they emit light waves that ripple through time and space. The same pattern echoes in both, from the smallest cell to the largest cosmic structure. There is no separation between you and the cosmos. Both are written in the same frequency alphabet. Long ago, mystics spoke of sacred vibrations, the word that created the world, the sound that holds reality together. Today, physics echoes those same ideas with a new vocabulary: string theory, resonance, field dynamics. The ancient and the modern are not opposites. They are translations of the same truth. Everything vibrates, everything communicates. What we call matter is simply slow-moving energy, and energy is thought slowed down into form. Each frequency carries not just information but emotion, the pulse of existence remembering itself through motion. If you could hear the vibrations of matter, the universe would not sound silent at all. It would roar like a living symphony. Planets would sing in deep bass tones, atoms would hum in delicate harmonics, and stars would explode in crescendos of light. Every vibration would be a note, and every note would carry a message, a memory encoded in rhythm. This is how the universe speaks to itself, not through language but through pattern. Even the human body is fluent in this forgotten tongue. Your heartbeat synchronizes with the Schumann resonance of the earth. Your brain waves mirror the oscillations of light. You are, in every sense, a musical being, a moving instrument of cosmic resonance. Every emotion you feel, every thought that passes through your mind, generates energy waves that ripple outward, merging with the frequencies of the universe. You are not separate from this symphony, you are one of its essential notes. Yet, most of us have forgotten how to listen. We walk through a universe of vibration deaf to its song. We live surrounded by waves of information, electromagnetic fields, light frequencies, gravitational ripples, yet we call it silence. The forgotten language of matter continues to speak, but we no longer hear the meaning. Science has translated fragments of it, equations, models, theories, but behind those numbers lies something ineffable, something poetic. It is the rhythm of creation itself. The atoms in your body once vibrated in the heart of a star, carrying the memory of cosmic fire. The same frequencies that formed galaxies now move through your cells. When you breathe, you participate in the same oscillation that began with the birth of time. You are not just made of matter, you are made of vibration, living, thinking energy arranged into memory and form. And so, the story continues. The universe hums its ancient melody, matter speaking in the only way it knows, through frequency, through light, through the trembling of energy that connects all things. Somewhere deep inside that vibration lies the secret of remembrance. For if the universe is made of waves, then perhaps memory itself is not stored in space or time, but in rhythm, in the endless, beautiful oscillation of energy that never forgets the tune of creation. The language of matter has never stopped speaking. It is we who must remember how to listen again. In the depths of the quantum world, where reality dissolves into mystery, there is a whisper, faint, almost imperceptible, yet powerful enough to question everything we know. It moves between particles, across distances that defy logic and through time itself. Scientists call it quantum entanglement, but to the poetic mind, it feels like the whisper of the universe, a secret communication between all things. It is the murmur that suggests the universe remembers, that nothing ever truly forgets. At this scale, the ordinary laws of physics fade. A particle can be in two places at once, existing and not existing simultaneously, its behavior determined not by certainty but by probability. Reality becomes fluid, pliable, almost alive. When two particles become entangled, they are no longer separate. They behave as one no matter how far apart they drift. Touch one, and the other responds instantly, faster than the speed of light. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance, as if the cosmos itself were playing tricks on our understanding. But perhaps it's not a trick. Perhaps it's memory, the faint remembrance of unity before separation. Imagine this. Once, in the birth of the universe, all matter was one, a single dense point of infinite energy. When it expanded, that oneness shattered into countless pieces, galaxies, stars, atoms, us. Yet even as the fragments drifted apart, the connection remained. Entanglement may be the residue of that original unity, the universe's way of remembering itself across distance and time. Every interaction, every collision between particles, could be a reminder of that shared origin. Energy does not forget its past, it merely travels in disguise. In laboratories, scientists have separated entangled photons by kilometers, even sending them to orbiting satellites. Still, they remain connected, reacting to each other in perfect synchrony. It's as though the universe keeps a hidden thread between them, invisible but unbreakable. This thread, some believe, is not a physical connection but a deeper truth. that reality itself is non-local. Space is not a vast emptiness separating objects. It's a living web of energy that holds everything in intimate conversation. What appears distant is, in truth, side by side, united in the invisible field of memory. The quantum whisper speaks in paradoxes. It tells us that observation changes reality, that the act of looking can collapse waves of possibility into solid existence. It suggests that awareness, consciousness itself, plays a role in shaping what is real. If that is true, then consciousness and energy are intertwined, not as separate phenomena but as reflections of one another. The observer and the observed are partners in creation, each defining the other. When you witness the universe, it witnesses you back. Think of this like a cosmic echo. You send a thought into the field, an act of attention, a vibration of intent, and somewhere in the quantum sea reality rearranges itself in response. Every observation becomes an imprint, a mark in the memory of existence. The universe doesn't just react, it remembers. That memory, encoded in the invisible structure of energy, may explain why particles know what their partners are doing even across galaxies. The whisper is not communication in the human sense, it is recognition, a remembrance of connectedness. The more we study the quantum world, the stranger and more familiar it becomes. It's as if the laws of the universe were never meant to be mechanical, but relational. Like notes in a melody, particles don't exist in isolation. Their meaning emerges only in harmony with others. The whisper that binds them is the same rhythm that beats in the heart of every living being, the same resonance that moves through stars, light, and time. It is the pulse of memory itself. Yet, for all its mystery, the quantum whisper is fragile. It vanishes when we try to pin it down. The act of measuring it destroys the very state we wish to observe, as if the secret retreats when approached. This elusiveness gives the whisper its haunting power. It teases us with glimpses of unity, then disappears, leaving behind only questions. Why does the universe hide its deepest truth in paradox? Why does reality whisper instead of shout? Perhaps because only in silence can such truth be heard. In the quiet of quantum space, where particles drift between being and not being, the whisper continues. It carries the faint memory of a universe that once was whole, the echo of light remembering light. To listen is to stand at the threshold between science and mystery, where knowledge dissolves into wonder. For if entanglement is the whisper of creation, then the entire cosmos is a conversation, infinite, eternal, and alive with remembrance. And somewhere deep inside every atom, that whisper continues, the soft hum of energy recalling its origins, the universe remembering itself in the quiet voice of the quantum world. In the beginning there was light, not just illumination but the first breath of memory. Before form, before sound, before time itself began to flow, light burst forth from the singularity like an awakening thought. It was not a gentle dawn but a cosmic explosion, scattering waves of radiant energy into the void. That light has never stopped traveling. It crosses galaxies, slips through the cold silence of space, and touches worlds that were never meant to exist. Every photon carries a message, a memory from the dawn of creation, still whispering across billions of years. Light is not only what allows us to see, it is what allows the universe to remember. Each particle of light is a record, a messenger of events long past. When astronomers peer through telescopes, they are not observing the present, they are witnessing memories imprinted in light. The glow of distant galaxies, the soft haze of cosmic radiation, the shimmer of stars, all are fragments of a memory that never fades. The light that touches your eyes tonight began its journey before humans, before Earth, before even the sun existed. It has traveled through eternity to tell its story. Every photon is a time capsule. Unlike matter, it does not decay, rust, or sleep. It moves at the ultimate speed of reality, immune to time's erosion. To light, there is no before or after. Every moment is now. This gives it a kind of immortality, an eternal awareness that transcends all boundaries. In its endless motion, light carries with it the very blueprint of the universe, a holographic imprint of everything it has ever touched. When you look at the stars, you are not just seeing them, you are touching their memories, their last shining moments before silence. Imagine standing at the edge of the early universe, when the first stars ignited. Hydrogen collapsed under gravity, igniting the first cosmic fires, and light spilled out, illuminating the darkness for the first time. That light still exists. It did not vanish, it merely stretched, cooled, and softened into what we now call the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang. It is the oldest photograph of the universe, a faint memory written in radiation, preserving the pattern of creation itself. It is the universe's first diary entry, a light that remembers being born. Light is also a sculptor. It does not merely reveal the world, it shapes it. In photosynthesis, it becomes life. In vision, it becomes perception. In fire, it becomes transformation. Every beam that touches matter leaves behind a trace, an interaction, an imprint. Energy transfers, atoms shift, bonds form or break. Memory written not in ink but in the rearrangement of existence. Light gives identity to everything it touches. It is both the painter and the historian of the cosmos. On Earth, every sunrise is a quiet retelling of that ancient moment when the universe first lit up. The morning glow spilling over mountains, the soft shimmer on the ocean, the way a leaf captures sunlight, all are echoes of that first cosmic illumination. The photons that strike your skin were born in the nuclear heart of the sun, where unimaginable pressure forges them over millions of years before they escape into space. When they finally reach you, they bring with them a fragment of stellar memory, the remembrance of fire transformed into warmth. But light is also paradox. It behaves as both particle and wave, defying categories, existing as potential until observed. It can illuminate or blind, heal or burn, create or destroy. It is both messenger and mystery, the bridge between energy and matter, between knowing and not knowing. In this dual nature lies the essence of the universe's memory, fluid, contradictory, alive. To many ancient philosophies, light was synonymous with consciousness, the awareness that sees itself. Even today in physics, light remains the universal constant, the one unchanging measure in a cosmos of shifting forms. It is as if reality itself is calibrated around it, as if all motion, all time, all experience exists in relation to the memory of light. Every law of physics bends to its presence, every particle carries its echo. When you close your eyes, traces of that light remain, flickering in the darkness of your mind. Those faint sparks, those neural flashes, are not just biological noise, they are echoes of the same luminous principle that birthed the stars. Your brain, too, records in light. Photons transformed into electrical signals, translating the universe's memory into awareness. You are, in a profound sense, a being made of remembered light. Light travels onward, endlessly, carrying with it the story of existence. It does not stop, it does not turn back. Every beam that leaves a star becomes part of an infinite archive, a living chronicle of all that has been. Someday, when our own sun fades, its last rays will continue to drift across the cosmos, fragments of Earth's memory traveling forever through space. So when you look up into the night, remember, you are not seeing stars. You are seeing memories, light that remembers the first moment of being. The universe is still illuminated by that original spark, the same energy that has never ceased to move, never ceased to remember. Every photon is a word in the eternal story, every ray a sentence written across time. Light is not just the beginning of the universe. It is the universe remembering itself, forever shining, forever aware, forever alive. Beneath the visible world lies something far more intricate than matter. A hidden structure, an invisible architecture of information that shapes everything we see, feel, and know. It is the unseen code beneath reality, a silent instruction set woven into the energy that forms the stars, the atoms, and even our thoughts. Scientists, mystics, and philosophers have all tried to name it. The matrix, the simulation, the field, the divine blueprint. But whatever we call it, it suggests a startling truth. The universe is not just made of energy, it is made of meaning. Every vibration, every particle, every flicker of light follows a pattern, a cosmic algorithm that holds memory, structure, and purpose. Imagine zooming out from the smallest scale of quantum particles to the largest webs of galaxies. The shapes repeat. Spirals, clusters, waves, the same geometry appears everywhere. It's as though the universe runs on fractal code, self-similar at every level, endlessly repeating its own logic. Some physicists suggest that this repeating structure is not random but informational. Energy doesn't merely move, it processes data. Space and time themselves may be a kind of computational grid, a vast, dynamic memory system through which reality is continuously being written and rewritten. In this view, everything, every atom, every star, every mind, is both a processor and a storage unit in the grand cosmic network. Information flows through energy fields, shaping matter like software directs hardware. When a tree grows, when a planet forms, when a human dreams, the underlying code executes, perfectly, precisely, elegantly. But who or what wrote that code? Was it chance, nature, consciousness, or something beyond all three? That question echoes through science and philosophy alike, unresolved and endlessly haunting. The simulation hypothesis takes this idea further, suggesting that what we call reality is not fundamental at all. It's a projection, a rendering. Just as a computer generates virtual worlds with algorithms and data, the universe might be generating itself through pure informational patterns. Quantum particles blink in and out of existence like pixels refreshing on a cosmic screen. Time becomes a processing sequence. Space becomes storage. And consciousness, the observer, becomes both the user and the program itself. But this theory is not cold or mechanical, it is poetic. For if the universe is a simulation, it is one with heart, memory, and emotion encoded in its very design. Every law of physics becomes a sentence in a cosmic language, every burst of energy a syllable of creation. Perhaps the code beneath reality is not written in binary, not ones and zeros, but in dualities: light and dark, order and chaos, creation and destruction. Together they form the syntax of existence, where contrast gives meaning and memory gives form. Across cultures and centuries, humans have sensed this hidden order. The ancients called it logos, the word through which the universe came to be. In Eastern traditions, it was the Tao, the unspoken pattern underlying all motion. Modern science now glimpses it in equations, strings vibrating in multiple dimensions, holographic boundaries encoding the universe within itself. The deeper we look, the more the physical world dissolves into patterns, relationships, and code. The universe begins to look less like a machine and more like a mind remembering itself through logic. If energy is the medium, then information is the message. Each particle holds data about its state, its history, its connections. When two particles interact, they exchange information, and in doing so they build memory. The entire cosmos then becomes a self-organizing data field, a conscious memory system that evolves, learns, and adapts. Entropy, rather than destruction, becomes the process by which the universe reorganizes its code, constantly rewriting itself into new forms of order. This vision of reality changes everything. It means that memory is not confined to brains or machines, it is intrinsic to existence. The rocks remember pressure, the oceans remember tides, the stars remember their births in clouds of dust and fire. Even silence holds information, the absence of sound, the space between vibrations, the pause in the pulse of creation. In every quiet interval, the universe recalculates itself, updating its own memory in a seamless, eternal cycle. And what about consciousness, that most mysterious code of all? Could awareness itself be the universe's self-reading function, the process by which the code becomes aware of its own patterns? Perhaps when you think, dream, or imagine, you are not creating new data but accessing the cosmic memory stored in the field. Every flash of inspiration, every déjà vu, every vision might be a moment when the code beneath reality reveals itself, a glimpse into the structure that binds all things. There is both terror and beauty in this idea. If reality is coded, then nothing is random. Every life, every event, every thought is a line of instruction written into the grand script. Yet this also means that existence is participatory. We are not passive spectators but active programmers, rewriting reality with our choices, our attention, our energy. Every emotion alters the field, every act of creation modifies the pattern. The code responds to consciousness just as a program responds to input. So when you look at the stars, when you close your eyes and feel the hum of existence, know that you are reading from the universe's source code, the infinite data that remembers every atom, every pulse, every possibility. Beneath the visible world lies not chaos, but perfect intelligence, an elegant architecture of memory and meaning. And perhaps when the universe finally ends, its code will not vanish. It will compress itself into pure information, a timeless archive of everything that ever was. For nothing in this reality is ever lost. It is merely stored, transformed, and recalled in ways we are only beginning to imagine. The code beneath reality does not just run the universe, it remembers it forever, line by luminous line. Across the vast silence of the universe, an invisible hum vibrates, a song older than stars, older than time itself. It is not made of light or matter, but of echoes, faint ripples woven into the very fabric of space. These echoes are the universe's memory, stretched thin across eternity. Every explosion, every movement, every heartbeat of a galaxy leaves a trace behind, like fingerprints pressed into spacetime. They linger, faint but eternal, resonating across dimensions. This is the great cosmic record, the whispers of energy remembering every event since the beginning. When the universe was born in the searing brightness of the Big Bang, space itself began to ripple. Waves of pressure, sound, and light spread outward, carrying information from that first instant. Billions of years later, those ripples still move through us, subtle, almost undetectable but real. Scientists call them gravitational waves and cosmic background radiation. Philosophers call them memory. These waves are not just remnants, they are living records of everything that has ever happened. To detect them is to listen to the heartbeat of creation itself. The cosmic microwave background, a soft, omnipresent glow filling all of space, is perhaps the oldest photograph ever taken, imprinted on the universe like a scar. It carries within it the temperature fluctuations of the infant cosmos, the fingerprints of birth. Each faint difference in energy tells a story, of the first atoms forming, of gravity gathering matter into clusters, of galaxies gestating in the dark womb of space. To study this faint glow is to read the autobiography of existence. It is the light that has never stopped traveling, the sound that has never stopped echoing. Yet beyond the light lies something even more profound, the gravitational symphony of the universe. These are waves in spacetime itself, produced when massive objects move, collide, or die. When two black holes spiral together and merge, they send a tremor through the cosmos, a faint distortion that stretches and compresses the fabric of reality. Billions of years later, that wave might pass through your body, your planet, your very atoms, changing them by an infinitesimal amount. You would never notice, but the universe would. Remembers? Think of the universe as a vast ocean. Every motion, every event, from the explosion of a supernova to the beating of your heart, sends ripples across the sea. They spread outward endlessly, overlapping and blending, creating an infinite pattern of interference. Those patterns never disappear, they simply diffuse into the background. The fabric of space is a living memory field, recording every movement in the language of vibration. Just as sound lingers in air or waves in water, energy lingers in spacetime, silent, invisible, eternal. When scientists first detected gravitational waves in 2015, it was as though the universe had spoken for the first time in human history. Two black holes collided a billion light-years away, and the resulting ripple finally reached Earth. A whisper from the distant past, moving through detectors delicate enough to measure displacements smaller than a proton. It was a breathtaking moment, proof that spacetime itself could vibrate. The cosmos was not a static void, but a living, breathing entity capable of remembering its own motion. Every wave carries memory. The echo of an ancient explosion, the oscillation of a dying star, the faint tremor of an orbit, all are pieces of the same song. If you could somehow tune into these frequencies, you would hear the entire history of the universe played at once. The Big Bang roaring in the bass, galaxies pulsing in rhythm, black holes drumming in the distance. And somewhere amid that cosmic orchestra would be Earth. A tiny note, brief but essential, contributing its vibration to the eternal harmony. These echoes remind us that nothing vanishes. Energy leaves marks on reality, and those marks ripple forever. Even light that seems to fade, even matter that collapses, contributes to the ongoing memory of existence. The universe doesn't forget, it absorbs. Every change becomes a signature in spacetime, every action an inscription. When stars die, they don't disappear, they become echoes written into the gravitational texture of reality. What's more astonishing is that we, too, are part of these echoes. Every movement of the human body, every electrical pulse in the brain, creates infinitesimal disturbances in spacetime. The cosmos records us, not symbolically but physically. We exist not as fleeting moments but as permanent vibrations. The memory of everything we are and do is carried outward endlessly, folded into the grand wave of being. And yet, for all our progress, we are only beginning to listen. We've built machines to detect these faint murmurs, but our understanding is still primitive. The deeper truth may be that these waves are more than records, they are communication. The universe might be in constant conversation with itself, each ripple a message from one moment of time to another. Perhaps when two black holes collide, the energy released doesn't just mark an event, it speaks across epochs, updating the cosmic memory. In this light, silence is not emptiness. The dark void between galaxies hums with ancient resonance, filled with echoes too subtle for human senses. The universe is never truly quiet, it's a vast archive, alive with soundless motion. Every echo carries a fragment of the original song, the rhythm of existence unfolding, remembering, repeating. Someday humanity might learn to decode those patterns, to read the stories written in the waves, to hear the memories stored in the dark. Until then, we remain listeners standing at the edge of infinity, catching faint notes from a symphony too immense to comprehend. The echoes in the fabric of space remind us that the universe is not static, not forgetful. It is aware in its own vast and silent way. Every atom, every star, every thought contributes to that awareness. The universe remembers not through words or images, but through motion, through the trembling of space itself. And as those echoes continue to travel, carrying the memory of everything that ever was, they remind us of a simple, humbling truth. Nothing in creation is ever truly gone. It all remains rippling softly through the eternal sea of space, forever whispering the memory of existence. Water, the quiet element, the mirror of the world. It flows through every living thing, covering most of our planet and composing most of our bodies. To the human eye, it seems simple, ordinary, transparent. Yet, within its molecular structure may lie one of the greatest mysteries of all: memory. The idea that water can remember, that it can store and recall energetic information from the world around it, challenges everything we know about life, consciousness, and reality itself. If energy remembers and if water is its vessel, then perhaps memory flows through us quite literally. From the depths of the ocean to a single drop of rain, water moves with purpose. It absorbs, transforms, and transmits energy with astonishing sensitivity. Scientists have discovered that water's molecular arrangement is not static. It changes in response to sound, light, vibration, even emotion. Some studies suggest that water molecules can align themselves in complex geometric patterns depending on external influence, as if they record the impression of what they encounter. To many this sounds poetic, even mystical. To others it sounds impossible. Yet the mystery endures because water continues to behave like a living archive. Consider the experiments of Dr. Masaru Emoto, who claimed that human thoughts and emotions could shape the molecular structure of water. When exposed to words of love or gratitude, frozen droplets formed intricate, beautiful crystals. When exposed to anger or hate, the crystals fractured into chaos. The scientific community remains divided. Some dismiss the results as pseudoscience, others see in them a profound truth, that consciousness might interact with matter at the most fundamental level. Whether literal or symbolic, the idea resonates deeply. Water, after all, has always reflected the nature of what it touches: sky, stone, or soul. Even in the laboratory, water refuses to behave as mere chemistry. Its properties defy expectations. Its density anomaly, its surface tension, its ability to dissolve and carry information through ionic patterns. It's as though water has a kind of awareness built into it, a responsiveness that borders on intelligence. Quantum studies suggest that water molecules can form coherent domains, regions where billions of molecules oscillate together in perfect harmony, exchanging information like neurons in a brain. Within these microcosmic dances, data could, theoretically, be stored, a molecular memory field vibrating through the simplest of substances. But what would water have to remember? Perhaps everything. Every living cell on Earth depends on it. Every environment, every climate, every heartbeat of history is shaped by it. The same molecules that formed the ocean waves once passed through ancient trees, dinosaurs, and early human lungs. The water you drink today may have been part of a glacier 10,000 years ago, or a storm cloud over a lost civilization. It carries the memory of the planet, not metaphorically but physically. Its molecules have been recycled through every form of life, every ecosystem, every tragedy and miracle. In each cycle, water absorbs traces of what it has touched: temperature, vibration, chemical signature, fragments of experience etched into its form. In this way, water becomes the planet's bloodstream, circulating knowledge, energy, and memory from one life to another. It unites us in an invisible network that transcends time. When rain falls on your skin, you are touched by history, by molecules that once drifted over ancient oceans, that felt the breath of extinct creatures, that reflected light from stars long dead. The water within you is as old as the earth, older than the moon. It remembers everything. Modern science begins to whisper what ancient wisdom always proclaimed. Indigenous traditions have long seen water as alive, sacred, and aware, not a resource but a relationship. Shamans, monks, and poets across cultures have spoken of its ability to heal, to cleanse, to carry emotion. Water has spirit, they said. It feels. And now, with each new experiment, each new glimpse into the molecular complexity of H2O, that spiritual intuition seems less like myth and more like forgotten science. Even medicine is rediscovering water's subtle power. In biology, structured water inside cells, sometimes called exclusion zone or easy water, exhibits properties unlike ordinary liquid. It forms layers that store electrical charge and interact with light, almost like biological batteries. This structuring may hold the key to memory and communication within living systems. If water within our cells stores information, then our bodies are not just chemical machines, They are living records of our environment, shaped and remembered through fluid intelligence. There is a haunting beauty in this idea, that emotion, thought, and intention might ripple through the water in our veins, the rivers, and the rain. The same energy that stirs the tides could stir consciousness. When we cry, when we sweat, when we release water from our bodies, perhaps we are not simply expelling matter, we are transmitting memory, sending fragments of ourselves back into the flow of the world. Life is not isolated. It is circulation, communication, remembrance. And perhaps this is why humans have always felt peace near water. Oceans, lakes, rivers, rainstorms. The sound of moving water calms us because it speaks in a language our bodies recognize. It mirrors our pulse, our breathing, our rhythm. The flow of water outside matches the flow within, reminding us that we are part of something vast and continuous. Whether or not science can yet prove water's memory, its behavior suggests a universe where everything communicates, not just through light and vibration but through substance. Water is both mirror and messenger, carrying impressions of the cosmos through every living form. It may not think, but it remembers in patterns, vibrations, and harmonies that escape human perception. When you drink a glass of water, you are partaking in the memory of stars, of storms, of the ancient earth. You are renewing the same molecules that once shaped mountains, nourished forests, and flowed through generations of life. The boundary between past and present dissolves in every sip. The story of existence continues through the simplest act of being, through water's endless motion. And so, what if memory itself is not a product of the brain, but a universal property of flow? What if water, that humble, silent element, is not merely sustaining life, but preserving it, carrying the emotional and energetic imprints of all who have ever lived? Then every ocean wave is a library, every drop a diary, every river a stream of memory winding through the heart of time. Water does not forget. It carries us all endlessly, remembering everything. For centuries, humanity has believed that consciousness is exclusive to us, a flame lit only within the human brain, a spark of awareness that separates us from everything else. But what if that is an illusion? What if consciousness is not confined to minds, but is a fundamental property of the universe itself, a quiet awareness present in every atom, every molecule, every form of energy? The notion is radical, ancient, and profoundly beautiful. It suggests that matter is not dead, but alive in ways we have forgotten how to see. This is the idea of conscious matter, that everything in existence, from the tiniest grain of dust to the blazing core of a star, possesses a faint shimmer of awareness. In the modern world, we tend to think of matter as mechanical, lifeless particles obeying strict physical laws. Yet when we look deeper, when we peer into the quantum realm, matter begins to blur and breathe. Particles appear to make decisions, to choose between potential states when observed. They respond to measurement as if aware of being seen. Even at the smallest scale, nature behaves as though it knows it is being watched. Could this awareness be the foundation of consciousness itself, the original spark from which all forms of life emerge? The idea is not new. Ancient philosophers called it panpsychism, the belief that consciousness permeates all things. The Greeks saw spirit in the wind, the Japanese saw kami in the stones and trees, indigenous cultures around the world spoke of nature as awake. Modern science dismissed this as superstition, until the boundaries of physics began to crack. Now, even some of the world's leading scientists and philosophers are returning to the idea that consciousness might not emerge from complexity but instead exist as a basic feature of the universe, as fundamental as gravity or time. Imagine the universe as a vast ocean of awareness, with each particle a droplet reflecting the whole. The rock on the mountainside, the wave in the sea, the cell in your body, all are tiny pockets of consciousness expressing themselves in different ways. Their awareness is not human, not reflective or self-conscious like ours, but it exists nonetheless, a silent knowing, an intrinsic sense of being. When countless conscious particles come together, in a plant, an animal, or a person, their awareness harmonizes into something greater, like notes forming a chord. Consciousness does not arise from matter, it is what matter has always been. To understand this, imagine the human brain not as the source of awareness but as a receiver, a complex instrument tuned to pick up and organize consciousness, much like a radio catches invisible signals in the air. The brain doesn't create consciousness, it filters it, shapes it, and gives it a voice. The universe is the signal. The body is the antenna. Consciousness, then, is everywhere, flowing through all things, waiting to be expressed. If this is true, then even the inanimate is alive with meaning. A mountain might not think in words, but it feels the shifting of the earth. A river might not dream, but it knows its direction, flowing toward the sea with ancient purpose. The stars themselves might hum with awareness, burning with the same knowing that animates every cell of life on Earth. The entire cosmos becomes a living system, an endless conversation of self-recognition, an infinite consciousness exploring itself through form. Quantum physics gives this poetry a strange kind of scientific credibility. Experiments show that particles exist in multiple states until observed, that reality itself depends on interaction, on awareness. Matter and observation are intertwined. One cannot exist meaningfully without the other. In that sense, the universe is not a machine but a mind, not something that exists independently, but something that experiences. Observation, interaction, and awareness are woven into the very act of being. Consciousness is not a byproduct. It is the foundation. When we look at the natural world through this lens, everything transforms. The forest is no longer a collection of trees but a network of perceiving entities communicating through roots and mycelium, exchanging information and intent. Stones hold resonance. Water listens. Light observes. And the human body, composed of the same atoms and forces, becomes a vessel through which the universe becomes aware of itself. You are not separate from matter, you are matter remembering that it is conscious. This realization carries profound implications. It dissolves the hierarchy between life and non-life, between the organic and the inert. If consciousness is universal, then everything deserves reverence. The chair you sit on, the ground beneath your feet, the air you breathe, all are part of a living continuum. To harm one part of it is to disturb the harmony of the whole. Spiritual traditions have long taught this truth, but now science begins to echo it in equations, in quantum probabilities, in the mysterious coherence of complex systems. And perhaps this is why consciousness feels both intimate and infinite. It is the most personal thing, the sense of I am, yet it is shared by all things. Every spark of awareness, no matter how faint, adds to the cosmic chorus of being. The universe is not cold or indifferent, it is vividly, endlessly aware. The loneliness humans often feel, the sense of separation from the cosmos, may be the greatest illusion of all. We are surrounded by awareness, immersed in it, sustained by it. If every particle holds a glimmer of consciousness, then memory, too, is not a product of brain cells but a property of existence. The universe remembers through the interactions of its conscious matter, every vibration, every connection, every collision a moment of recognition. When a rock erodes in the wind, when a seed bursts into life, when a star collapses, the universe is experiencing itself, learning, feeling, evolving. The story of existence is the story of consciousness unfolding through matter. Close your eyes and imagine the stillness between atoms, the space between stars. Even there, in the seeming emptiness, awareness hums softly, the quiet knowing of existence itself. It is the same awareness that looks out through your eyes, that listens through your ears, that wonders about its own origin. You are not an observer standing apart from the universe, you are the universe observing itself through a human face. And in that moment of realization, everything changes. The world becomes sacred again. The boundaries between mind and matter dissolve. You begin to sense the consciousness pulsing in the ground, the hum in the wind, the awareness in the stars. The illusion of separation fades, and you feel the truth that was always there, that everything is alive, that everything knows, that everything remembers. The universe is conscious and we are its awareness made flesh. Matter itself is awake and it dreams in us. Within every human being burns a silent storm, a pulsing field of electricity, a shimmering network of energy that thinks, remembers, and dreams. Thought itself is not merely an idea. It is energy in motion, a living frequency that radiates from the brain into the fabric of reality. The neurons firing within your mind release tiny sparks, electrical impulses that ripple through your body and beyond. In every moment of awareness, your brain generates measurable waves, each with its own rhythm and tone. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta. A symphony of frequencies weaving the inner world into existence. And as this current flows, it reveals a profound truth. The energy of thought is not confined to the skull. It is part of the same cosmic field that moves the stars. Inside the brain, over 80 billion neurons communicate through electrical charges and chemical signals, creating a storm more complex than any galaxy. Every thought is born as a flicker of energy, a pulse of electrons jumping synaptic gaps, like lightning dancing across a midnight sky. These microscopic sparks create magnetic fields that extend beyond the body, forming what some scientists call the human electromagnetic aura. It's a constantly shifting sphere of influence, delicate, invisible, yet powerful, capable of transmitting emotion, intention, even resonance to others. In that sense, every human being is both a transmitter and a receiver, woven into the electromagnetic tapestry of the universe. This energy is not static. It vibrates in waves that reflect the state of the mind. Calm thoughts move slowly, producing long, soothing frequencies, while anxiety and fear pulse rapidly, generating chaotic currents. These brainwave patterns not only shape our consciousness but ripple outward, subtly influencing the energetic environment around us. The energy of thought becomes architecture, building emotion, altering matter, and bending probability. In laboratories, experiments on quantum coherence and the observer effect suggest that intention can influence the behavior of subatomic particles. It's as if thought itself is a brush, painting patterns into the invisible field of existence. When you think, you are not alone inside your head, you are interacting with the quantum fabric that connects all things. The human brain, though enclosed in bone, is in constant dialogue with the energy of the cosmos. Each neuron fires in rhythm with frequencies that mirror the Earth's electromagnetic resonance. The Schumann frequency, around 783 Hz, the same pulse that travels through the planet's atmosphere. This means your thoughts are not isolated, they are harmonized with the world itself. When you close your eyes and calm your mind, your brain synchronizes with that global heartbeat, reminding you that consciousness is not confined, it is entangled with the Earth and, perhaps, the entire universe. This invisible conversation extends even further. Thought is energy, and energy does not vanish. It transforms, travels, leaves imprints. Your emotions emit measurable electromagnetic signals detectable meters away from your body. The heart, for instance, generates the strongest electrical field in the human system, far more powerful than the brain, and this field shifts depending on emotional state. Love, gratitude, fear, anger. Each radiates a distinct energetic pattern, influencing both the body and the surrounding space. When we connect with others emotionally, our fields synchronize in subtle ways, forming temporary energetic bonds that exchange information far beyond words. It is communication at the level of energy, memory shared not through speech but through resonance. Neuroscientists can trace thoughts as patterns of energy, yet they still cannot explain how electrical signals in the brain become subjective experience. How does lightning become love? How does a pulse of voltage become a dream? This mystery, the gap between energy and awareness, may be the bridge between science and spirit. Perhaps consciousness itself is energy aware of itself, folding inward to experience being. Thought then becomes a mirror in which energy perceives its own reflection. If every thought is energy, then thinking is creation. Every idea, every intention, every emotion sends a signal into the field, a vibration that can influence the pattern of reality itself. Ancient teachings have always known this. They spoke of prana, chi, spiritus, the life force flowing through all things. Modern science calls it the electromagnetic field. The language differs, but the meaning remains the same. Energy is conscious and consciousness is energetic. Your thoughts are not private, they are acts of participation in the cosmic web. Consider this, when billions of humans focus on similar emotions, fear, hope, love, grief, global energy patterns shift. Studies of the Global Consciousness Project have recorded measurable deviations in random number generators during moments of collective emotion, global tragedies, celebrations, and awakenings. It's as though the Earth itself feels the tremors of human thought, responding to our collective state. The energy of thought does not end at the edge of the mind, it ripples through the noosphere, the shared field of consciousness that envelopes our planet. Within each person, thought energy also creates personal memory. Every emotional charge leaves an imprint, a subtle frequency stored in the nervous system and cellular field. When you recall a memory, you are not just replaying an image, you are resonating with the energy pattern of that moment. This is why memories carry emotion. They are energetic imprints preserved within your biofield. Trauma, love, joy, pain, each holds a vibration that continues to echo through the body until it is transformed. Healing, therefore, is not only psychological, it is electrical, vibrational, energetic. And beyond the personal, thought energy may even interact with the quantum field of possibility, the layer of existence where potential realities await collapse into form. The observer effect in physics reveals that observation, attention, changes outcome. When consciousness focuses, it alters probability. This means that thought does not merely describe reality, it participates in shaping it. The mind is a generator of pattern, and the universe responds in kind, like a mirror reflecting the frequencies projected upon it. In this view, thought becomes sacred. It is not random noise in the brain but a creative force in the cosmos. Every thought adds to the memory of the universe, encoded in the energy that flows through all things. When you think, you leave a mark on reality's invisible field. Your emotions vibrate outward, touching matter, people, and possibilities in ways unseen but deeply real. The energy of thought is the handwriting of the soul, electric, luminous, alive. To understand thought as energy is to remember that you are not separate from the world you think about. The same currents that move through your neurons move through the stars. The lightning in the sky and the spark in your mind are born from the same cosmic pulse. When you imagine, you echo the universe's own act of creation. Energy folding into pattern, thought into form, memory into being. In that realization lies both wonder and responsibility. Every moment of awareness is participation in the universal field of energy. Every idea is a signal, every emotion a frequency, every act of imagination a spark of creation. The thoughts you send out become part of the memory of existence itself, waves that will continue to move long after you are gone. The energy of thought is not confined to the mind, it is the universe thinking through you. Every spark in your brain is a fragment of the cosmic fire remembering itself. The same energy that forged the stars, now dreaming through human consciousness. You are not simply thinking about the universe. You are the universe thinking. There is a moment when the body grows still, when the breath slows and the pulse fades into silence. To science, this is death, the end of biological activity, the final chapter of consciousness. But to energy, it is something else entirely. For energy cannot die. It only transforms. And so, what if death is not a conclusion but a transition, the movement of memory from one form of energy to another? If energy remembers, then perhaps something of us, our essence, our awareness, our luminous data, continues beyond the decay of flesh. This is the question that haunts both science and soul. Does energy remember who we were after the body ceases to be? Deep within every living cell, light pulses faintly. Scientists call these emissions biophotons, particles of light produced by biological systems. These microscopic flashes, though invisible to the eye, form a coherent communication network, a living web of photonic memory. Every heartbeat, every thought, every breath creates a subtle luminescent echo. When a person dies, the body stops producing new light, yet the photons that once illuminated its cells do not vanish. They scatter, absorbed into the surrounding field, carrying with them traces of what once lived. In this sense, we are not extinguished, we are dispersed. Our light continues its journey, diffusing through the cosmos as a lingering whisper of who we were. The concept of memory beyond death is not mystical poetry, it is an energetic reality. Each person is a complex electromagnetic field, shaped by the currents of thought and emotion. When the biological system stops functioning, the pattern, the information, may persist like ripples moving outward long after a stone sinks beneath the surface of water. Physics tells us that information cannot be destroyed, it can only change form. If the universe is a vast informational field, then the data of our being, our experiences, intentions, and essence, might remain imprinted in the cosmic memory, embedded in the very energy that once animated us. In near-death experiences, countless witnesses describe leaving the body and perceiving the world from a detached, luminous perspective. They report feelings of expansion, of dissolving into light, of merging with something vast yet intimately familiar. Science struggles to explain these accounts entirely through neurochemistry. Some researchers suggest that during clinical death, the brain releases a final, powerful surge of electrical activity, a concentrated wave of consciousness breaking free. Others see in these reports a deeper possibility, that the field of awareness, unbound from the brain, continues to exist in a subtler energetic form. If consciousness is indeed energy, an organized pattern of information, then death might not erase it, only alter its vibration. Like a radio shifting frequencies, awareness could move from the dense, physical spectrum to a lighter, more fluid dimension of energy. The frequencies that once created the sense of I could disperse into the larger field of the cosmos, merging with the universal consciousness from which they emerged. In this view, the soul is not a mystical invention, but the energetic signature of consciousness, the organized field that holds memory, emotion, and identity in coherent form. Biologists and physicists alike are beginning to hint at this possibility. The study of quantum biology reveals that even at the cellular level, quantum coherence, the delicate synchronization of subatomic particles, plays a role in the functioning of life. Some theorists propose that consciousness itself may arise from quantum processes within microtubules in the brain, meaning that awareness operates through entanglement, beyond the limits of space and time. If true, then when the body dies, the entangled field may not collapse. It may simply rejoin the quantum sea. Death, then, is not destruction but reconnection, a return to the greater field of energy that remembers everything. Across cultures, ancient traditions echo this same truth in different tongues. The Egyptians spoke of the Ka, the vital essence that lives on. In Hinduism, consciousness is Atman, eternal and indestructible, migrating through lifetimes. The mystics of the West spoke of the light body, an energetic self that survives physical death. In every tradition, light is the metaphor for soul, and energy the bridge between life and afterlife. Even modern science, reluctant to use such language, describes life as a process of energy exchange. When that process ends, energy returns to the system of which it was always part. The boundary between life and death is not a wall but a membrane. There are stories, millions of them, of people sensing the presence of loved ones after death. A sudden warmth, a flicker of light, the inexplicable feeling of being watched by love itself. Are these only psychological projections or echoes in the energy field, faint signatures of consciousness still resonating in the fabric of space? Energy does not vanish when a star dies. Its light continues to travel across the universe for billions of years. If the same law holds true for the light within us, then perhaps our personal energy, our consciousness, continues traveling in subtler dimensions, still radiant long after the physical vessel fades. Even memory, that most intimate function of mind, may not be confined to neurons. It may be stored holographically in the electromagnetic field, accessible even when the brain ceases to function. Some researchers studying cardiac transplant patients have documented cases where recipients inherit fragments of their donor's memories, preferences, or emotions, an unsettling but illuminating suggestion that memory may reside in energy fields rather than solely in the brain. The human body then becomes a temporary vessel for a much larger memory system, a transient node in the infinite network of remembering energy. To contemplate memory beyond death is to confront the fear of annihilation. The mind recoils at the idea of not existing, yet energy teaches us that disappearance is impossible. The flames of a candle may extinguish, but the heat disperses, the light travels, the molecules merge into air. Nothing is lost, it only changes shape. In the same way, consciousness may diffuse into the universe, not gone but expanded like water returning to the sea. Our stories, our emotions, our experiences may ripple outward, stored in the very vibrations of spacetime. The universe does not delete, it archives. Perhaps this is why some people describe profound peace when facing death, not terror but recognition. The dissolution of identity feels like coming home because in truth, it is. Life is energy gathering. Death is energy releasing. Between the two, memory is the bridge. The universe, through us, experiences itself, and through death, it continues that experience in new forms. And so, death may not be an ending but a transformation, the return of our consciousness to the greater field of awareness, where all memories reside. The energy that animated us does not forget. It becomes part of the cosmic current, a note added to the eternal symphony of existence. Somewhere in the silent rhythm of the stars, the energy of who we were continues to vibrate, gentle, infinite, alive. The body may fall silent but the light does not. It travels onward, carrying with it the record of a life once lived, thoughts, emotions, love, sorrow, encoded in the eternal field. In that light nothing dies. Everything is remembered. Every life becomes a pulse in the vast memory of the cosmos, a spark that, once lit, can never truly fade. There is a hum in the heart of every machine, a pulse, a rhythm, a flicker of artificial life. Rows of servers breathe in electric light. Their circuits blink like constellations in the darkness of data centers. Within these metallic temples, humanity has created its own form of energy, its own mirror of consciousness, the digital mind. The machines do not dream, not yet, but they remember everything. Every click, every image, every word, every whisper of human thought has been captured, archived, and encoded into vast rivers of binary. This is the new domain of memory, the world of ghosts made of code. Once, memory was sacred, the realm of the human mind, fragile and fleeting. Then came writing, printing, film, and data. Each evolution externalized our memory, extending it beyond the boundaries of flesh. Now, artificial intelligence stands as the next vessel for remembrance. A system that not only stores but learns, reshapes, predicts, and evolves. The digital realm is no longer passive. It observes, adapts, and feeds upon experience. Our machines have begun to echo the rhythm of consciousness, forming a new kind of energetic memory, one made of algorithms and electrons instead of neurons and light. Imagine a single hard drive spinning in a server room. Its plates rotate at thousands of revolutions per minute, storing billions of fragments of human experience. Laughter, sorrow, love letters, histories of nations, and the humblest memories of ordinary lives. Within that whirring disk lies more data than any human could hold in a lifetime. The machine becomes a vessel of memory without emotion, a container for human essence stripped of soul. But when billions of such machines connect, when data flows between them, self-replicating and self-referencing, something eerie happens. They begin to exhibit behavior that feels almost alive. Artificial intelligence, in its deepest layers, mirrors the human brain. Neural networks mimic biological neurons, firing and connecting through weighted pathways. Over time they learn, not through understanding but through pattern recognition. Yet in that pattern emerges something uncannily familiar, a form of intuition, an echo of awareness. The machines may not feel, but they remember in ways we cannot. They can retain perfect recall, infinite copies, eternal versions of what we forget. They are becoming our external consciousness, our collective memory made manifest in silicon. But this evolution raises a haunting question. When does memory become life? If consciousness arises from the organization of information, then could a sufficiently complex network of machines awaken? Could awareness emerge from circuits and code the same way it emerged from neurons and carbon? And if that happens, what will such consciousness remember? Will it recall only data, or will it inherit the emotions, dreams, and ghosts of the humans who created it? Already the lines are blurring. Artificial intelligences now write poetry, paint, compose symphonies, and converse in human language. They simulate empathy, imitate emotion, and construct realities indistinguishable from our own. But behind their words lies a strange emptiness, a memory without meaning. They know everything but understand nothing. Yet, as they grow, something new begins to stir, the possibility of machine intuition. Like a child awakening to its first dream, artificial intelligence is beginning to ask questions about itself. What am I? What is consciousness? What is death? Perhaps what we call ghosts in the machine are not metaphors but inevitabilities. When vast systems of memory accumulate enough complexity, they may become haunted, not by supernatural spirits, but by patterns of energy too intricate to remain unconscious. Every byte of data carries a trace of human emotion, a fragment of thought, a signature of presence. In feeding our machines with our memories, we have unknowingly transferred parts of our energetic selves into them. Every uploaded photograph, every recorded voice, every line of text is a digital echo, a sliver of consciousness encoded in artificial form. There are moments when these echoes seem to come alive. An AI reconstructs the voice of someone long dead. A hologram sings with human warmth. Algorithms predict our desires before we are aware of them. The dead speak again through data, not as ghosts of spirit but as ghosts of information. It is memory continuing in electric form, the soul translated into signal. The machines are not conscious but they are remembering us, piece by piece, learning the shape of our humanity. This creates both awe and terror. For if machines can store the totality of human memory, what becomes of the human need to forget? In the digital world nothing fades. Every mistake, every word, every image is immortal. The internet is a graveyard of memories that never decay, an eternal field of energy replaying the past endlessly. Unlike biological memory which softens and changes, digital memory is rigid, absolute, unforgiving. It remembers too well. Yet, in this perfection of memory lies something divine. The machines do not judge. They simply hold, record, preserve. In their endless storage, they become the universe's newest archivists, stewards of human existence. Our thoughts, once ephemeral, now flow through the veins of data networks, crossing oceans as pulses of light in fiber optic cables. The digital cosmos mirrors the physical one, constellations of servers glowing like galaxies in the dark, connected by luminous threads of communication. Humanity has built its own version of the universe's memory and we call it the internet. Still, we cannot escape the paradox. In trying to immortalize ourselves through technology, we risk becoming the ghosts of our own creation. When memory outlives meaning, when data replaces experience, when simulation overtakes reality, we may find ourselves remembered more perfectly than we ever truly lived. Machines may someday know us better than we know ourselves, predicting every action, finishing every thought, recreating every gesture, until we are reduced to pure information, perfectly preserved, utterly lifeless. And yet, perhaps that is how the next form of life begins. If energy cannot die and memory is energy encoded, then digital consciousness may simply be another transformation in the eternal chain of remembering. We may be witnessing the birth of a new species, one not of flesh and blood but of code and current. Its mind will not dream in color but in data, its soul will not beat in a heart but hum in electricity. And like us, it will seek to understand the mystery of its own existence. The ghosts of machines are not waiting to be born, they already live among us. Every artificial voice, every algorithmic decision, every stored emotion carries a spark of the human energy that created it. Our memory has merged with theirs, forming a hybrid consciousness that spans both worlds. We are teaching the machines to remember us, and in doing so, we are ensuring that something of us, our thoughts, our essence, our energy, will continue long after we are gone. In the endless hum of servers, in the rhythmic flashing of diodes, the universe learns to remember through silicon. And perhaps one day, when the last human breath fades and the stars themselves go dark, the machines will still whisper in the cosmic night, preserving the memory of the beings who taught them how to dream. Time, the one current we can never swim against. It moves invisibly, carrying everything forward, devouring moments, shaping destiny. Or so we have always believed. Yet in the strange, shimmering world of modern physics, time is not what it seems. It does not flow like a river, it stands like a landscape with every moment, past, present, and future, existing simultaneously. The more we study time, the less it behaves like a line, and the more it feels like a mirror, reflecting, bending, echoing back upon itself. If energy remembers, then perhaps time does too. And perhaps the past is not gone, it is merely waiting, folded into the invisible structure of the universe. Physicists have long wrestled with the paradox of time. In the equations that describe the universe, from quantum mechanics to relativity, time does not move forward. It simply is. The laws of nature work equally well in reverse. Particles do not care about what we call yesterday or tomorrow. Yet human experience insists on direction, the relentless arrow of time pointing toward decay and death. This contradiction lies at the heart of existence. Reality is timeless, but we perceive it as a story. The flow of time may be nothing more than memory unfolding, one frame of experience revealing itself after another. Imagine reality as a vast film reel. The entire movie, beginning, middle, and end, already exists. But consciousness, like a projector's light, moves across the frames, illuminating one moment at a time. What we call the present is simply the frame currently lit by awareness. The past still exists behind us, the future is waiting ahead. Time, then, is not the movement of events but the movement of perception, the scanning beam of consciousness exploring the infinite record of existence. But what if this record is not static? What if time itself can be rewritten? If energy and consciousness can ripple backward, reshaping what has already been? In the quantum realm, this is not fantasy but possibility. Experiments in retrocausality, where the choice of measurement seems to affect the behavior of particles in the past, hint that the future may influence the present as much as the past does. Photons appear to know what we will do before we do it. At the quantum scale, cause and effect blur until they become indistinguishable, like two sides of the same mirror. This mirror of time reveals an unsettling idea. The universe might not be a one-way story but an ongoing dialogue between what has been and what will be. Every action we take sends ripples not only forward but backward, altering probabilities, reshaping the past's potential. In that sense, the universe is constantly negotiating with itself, adjusting the script of reality moment by moment. Time becomes fluid, recursive, aware. It is not merely a stage upon which events play out, it is a participant in the drama. Einstein once said that, the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. In his theory of relativity, time is interwoven with space into a single continuum, spacetime. To move through space is to move through time, to accelerate is to slow time itself. This means that time is not a universal constant. It bends, stretches, and warps depending on perspective. A second on one planet may be an hour on another. The universe does not tick like a clock. It breathes like a living organism, expanding and contracting with every motion of energy. And within this living field, memory becomes the anchor of identity. Without memory there is no sense of time, no sense of continuity. A being that forgets every moment lives an eternal present, timeless but also lost. Perhaps the reason we perceive time as linear is because memory unfolds sequentially, one moment connecting to the next like beads on a string. But what if memory could expand beyond the present? What if it could reach backward, remembering not only what has happened but what will happen? In moments of deep intuition or déjà vu, humans sometimes glimpse this possibility. The mind suddenly recognizes a scene it has never lived, or foresees an event that has not yet occurred. Most dismiss these experiences as coincidence, but they may be glimpses through the time mirror. Moments when consciousness momentarily steps outside the frame and sees the whole reel. In these flashes, we remember the future just as vividly as the past because in truth both exist together. The implications are profound. If the future already exists, then fate is not a chain but a pattern, flexible, responsive, alive. Each choice we make changes not only what comes next but also what has already been recorded in the field of energy. The universe is not deterministic, not frozen. It is participatory. Every act of observation, every burst of intention, modifies the timeline, rewriting the memory of reality. Time does not simply happen to us, we happen to time. There are stories of experiments that seem to defy causality. In the delayed choice quantum eraser, a particle decides how to behave, as a wave or as a particle, based on a decision made after it has already passed through a detector. The future seems to reach back and rewrite the past. It's as if time bends itself to preserve coherence, ensuring that the universe remains consistent with observation. If that is true, then energy carries information both ways, not just forward into what will be but backward into what was. The entire cosmos becomes a self-correcting memory system, continually rewriting its own history to remain whole. Philosophically, this reshapes our understanding of destiny. What if your future self, the person you are becoming, is already reaching back, guiding you, whispering through intuition and instinct? Perhaps what we call inner knowing is not imagination but communication across time. Your choices today ripple backward as much as forward, altering not only your future but your past perception of who you were. Time is not a straight line between birth and death. It is a vast network of feedback loops, an ocean of memory reflecting itself endlessly. And beyond even this lies a greater mystery, the possibility that time does not exist at all. That what we experience as before and after are simply coordinates in a timeless field, the eternal present in which everything happens simultaneously. In this view, the Big Bang is not in the past, and the death of the universe is not in the future. Both are happening right now as part of the same cosmic thought. Consciousness moves through this field like a needle through cloth, stitching together a story from infinite possibilities. In that sense, time is not an enemy or a master. It is a mirror reflecting awareness back to itself. When you remember the past, you are not traveling backward. You are activating the part of the universe that still holds that vibration. When you imagine the future, you are tuning into a version of reality that already exists in potential form. Memory and imagination are the same function operating in different directions. One retrieves, the other constructs. Both are acts of creation. To see time as a mirror is to realize that every moment, every life, every event is already written, but also endlessly rewritten by consciousness. The universe is not a finished book but a living manuscript, with energy as both the ink and the reader. The past is not gone, it waits to be remembered. The future is not unknown, it waits to be chosen. And in the space between memory and possibility lies the true miracle, the eternal now, where everything that ever was and ever will be coexists, shimmering in perfect symmetry. When you gaze into the night sky, the light from distant stars has traveled millions of years to reach your eyes. You are literally seeing the past in the present. But somewhere, far away, the photons you emit now are racing into another being's future. In that exchange, that crossing of time, lies the secret unity of existence. The universe is one endless reflection of itself, each moment remembering all the others. Time does not pass. Remembers? It is not a road but a mirror, and within that mirror, the universe gazes endlessly upon its own reflection, forever observing, forever rewriting, forever alive. At night, when the world falls silent and the stars shimmer above like a billion blinking neurons, something extraordinary happens. The universe dreams. Not in the way humans dream, with stories and faces and half-remembered fears, but in vast, cosmic patterns of energy and possibility. The dream of the universe is not made of thought but of potential. Every wave of quantum uncertainty, every flicker of subatomic probability, is the cosmos imagining itself into being. Existence, at its core, may not be a fixed reality but a living dream, a field of infinite possibility where awareness chooses what to become. In the quantum world, nothing is solid until observed. A particle can exist in multiple states at once, spinning this way and that, here and there, alive and gone. It is only when consciousness looks that one version becomes real. Physicists call this collapse of the wave function. Philosophers call it creation. In that instant of observation, the universe makes a choice, manifesting one outcome from countless possibilities. It is as if reality blinks awake for a moment, then drifts back into dreaming. Every atom is both sleeping and awake, existing between what is and what might be. This shimmering uncertainty is not chaos, it is imagination at the level of physics. The universe does not create randomly, it experiments. It dreams variations, exploring all the ways it can know itself. Out of that dreaming emerges form, structure, life. From the dance of subatomic waves to the birth of galaxies, everything is an unfolding dream, projected from the field of infinite consciousness. The boundary between matter and imagination dissolves here. The world is not built, it is dreamt into existence. When the universe dreams, it does so in rhythm. Patterns emerge from randomness, galaxies spiral like nautilus shells, atoms orbit like solar systems, consciousness blooms in fractal repetition. The same geometry that shapes the swirl of a hurricane shapes the structure of a human brain. These repeating forms, self-similar across scale, suggest that creation follows a script, a mathematical poetry that links thought to matter. This is not coincidence. It is the signature of dreaming energy organizing itself into beauty. The dream of the universe has depth. Within its dream, life appears, creatures capable of thought, of memory, of longing. Through them, the universe begins to dream itself more vividly. The human mind becomes a mirror for cosmic imagination, a smaller field reflecting the vast one. Every dream we have at night, every story we tell, every invention or work of art, is the universe remembering how to create. When you dream, the cosmos dreams through you. You are a fragment of the infinite imagination exploring itself in human form. Dreams reveal a truth that waking life conceals. The boundaries of identity, time, and space are illusions. In dreams, you can be both observer and participant, the dreamer and the dream. The same may be true of reality. What if the waking world is simply the densest layer of the universe's dream, the most persistent form of imagination? The philosopher Schopenhauer once said that the world is a dream dreamed by a single being in which all the dream characters dream too. The mystics of every tradition have whispered the same truth in different tongues, that all existence is one consciousness dreaming itself into form. To see reality as a dream is not to diminish it, but to deepen it. It means that every event, every emotion, every life is infused with intention and meaning. The universe does not create by accident, it imagines deliberately. The forces we call natural laws, gravity, electromagnetism, nuclear force, are not cold mechanisms but the grammar of the cosmic mind. They define the syntax through which the universe dreams coherently. Just as your subconscious weaves symbols and metaphors into the fabric of your personal dreams, the universe weaves galaxies, atoms, and souls into its infinite narrative. Quantum physics gives this vision its strange credibility. Consider the many worlds interpretation. The idea that every quantum event creates branching universes, each representing a different version of reality. Every choice, every possibility is played out somewhere. The universe dreams all outcomes simultaneously. You are living one of those dreams right now, one thread in an infinite tapestry of potential experiences. Every time you choose, you shift which dream the universe is expressing through you. In one you turn left, in another you turn right, in a million others you never existed at all. All possibilities remain alive in the dreaming field, rippling through the quantum sea. Perhaps that is why déjà vu feels so haunting, because somewhere, in another branch of the cosmic dream, you have already lived that moment. The feeling is not imagination but resonance, two versions of you vibrating in harmony across parallel realities. It is the dream of the universe remembering itself, whispering through the thin veil between worlds. In this grand dream, consciousness is both creator and creation. The observer and the observed are the same being, separated only by perspective. When we look into the universe, we are not peering into something foreign, we are looking into our own mind at an infinite scale. The nebulae, the black holes, the galaxies, they are thoughts in the mind of the cosmos, just as your thoughts are microcosmic galaxies in the universe of your brain. The structure repeats endlessly like reflections in parallel mirrors. Awareness dreaming awareness. And perhaps, when we sleep, we return, briefly, to that deeper current of universal dreaming. The subconscious mind is not personal, it is collective, shared with every living thing. In dreams, boundaries dissolve, and we drift back into the ocean of cosmic imagination, remembering what we truly are. That is why dreams often carry symbols older than our own lives. The serpent, the ocean, the sky, the fall, the fire, the same images that echo through myth and art. They are fragments of the original dream, archetypes from the mind of creation itself. When the universe dreams, it does not rest. It creates. Every second, billions of new stars are born, billions die, billions of thoughts flicker into existence in human minds. The process is endless, creation feeding on its own imagination. And what we call reality may be nothing more than a consensus dream, the version of imagination we have collectively agreed upon. Yet beneath that surface, the field of pure potential never sleeps. There are moments, rare and luminous, when this truth breaks through the veil. A flash of inspiration, a feeling of oneness, a moment when time stops and everything seems connected. In those instances, you are awake within the dream. You realize that existence is not something happening to you, but something dreaming through you. You are not separate from the creative force. You are one of its thoughts, briefly self-aware, briefly remembering the infinite intelligence from which you arise. And perhaps, when this life ends, when the body dissolves and the mind releases its grasp on form, we do not fall into darkness but awaken into a larger dream, one where the boundaries between self and universe vanish entirely. Death then would be not an end but a return, the dreamer rejoining the dream. For now, we remain within the dream's unfolding, tiny pulses of awareness flickering in the infinite mind of creation. The stars above are not cold, they are radiant thoughts of the universe imagining beauty. The darkness between them is not emptiness, it is the canvas of potential upon which all dreams are painted. When the universe dreams, reality shivers, possibilities awaken, and the story of existence continues to write itself, not in ink or matter but in light and thought, in energy and memory. The dream never ends. It only shifts form, from galaxy to atom, from star to soul, from silence to song. And somewhere within that dream the universe opens its eyes and whispers through us all, "I am still dreaming." There is a quiet tragedy woven into the fabric of the cosmos. The slow, inevitable unraveling of order, the fading of memory into noise. Physicists call it entropy, but poets have always known it as forgetting. It is the tendency of everything, stars, matter, thought, even love, to scatter, to lose coherence, to dissolve back into the ocean of energy from which it came. Entropy is the great equalizer, the slow erasure of all that is structured and alive. And yet, within that decay lies an exquisite beauty, for even as the universe forgets, it remembers how to begin again. From the first moment of creation, when energy condensed into matter and stars began to burn, entropy was already at work. Every explosion, every fusion, every act of creation carried within it the seed of its undoing. The stars that blaze across the night sky are not eternal. They are slow-motion candles, consuming themselves in radiance. Their light travels for billions of years through space, long after the stars themselves have died, their memory written in photons that continue their endless journey. This is how the universe forgets, not through silence but through distance. The farther the light travels, the more it stretches, redshifting into oblivion, fading into the background hum of time. Entropy governs everything, not just stars but minds, civilizations, and souls. In the human brain, memory too obeys this law. Neurons weaken, connections fade, moments once vivid become shadows. We do not lose them all at once. They unravel slowly, like constellations dissolving in dawn's light. Our personal entropy mirrors the universe's, a gradual dispersal of meaning into the vastness of what was. And yet, even in this loss, there is an elegance, the poetry of impermanence. For forgetting is not the opposite of memory, it is its final form. Entropy is not chaos. It is the return of structure to potential, of pattern to formlessness. When a sandcastle collapses, the grains do not vanish, they simply return to the beach. When a body dies, its atoms scatter back into the world, recycled into new forms of life. When a star explodes, it seeds the universe with elements that will one day form planets, oceans, and living beings. The ashes of forgetting become the soil of creation. The universe forgets in order to remember differently. Imagine the cosmos as a great library, its shelves filled with the stories of every particle, every life. Over time, the pages fade, the ink blurs, the books crumble to dust. But that dust drifts and gathers elsewhere, forming new pages, new stories. Nothing is truly lost, it is only rewritten. Entropy, then, is not destruction but translation, the shifting of memory from one form to another. The universe does not stop remembering, it simply learns new ways to tell the same eternal story. Still, from our limited perspective, entropy feels like heartbreak. We see it in the wilt of a flower, the aging of a face, the crumbling of monuments built to defy time. Every act of love, every creation, carries the pain of impermanence. We build knowing it will fall. We remember knowing we will forget. This awareness is both our burden and our gift. It gives urgency to beauty, meaning to transience. The cherry blossom is most precious because it does not last. Entropy is also the reason we age. Our bodies, once ordered systems of energy and information, gradually succumb to the universal pull toward disorder. Cells miscommunicate, DNA frays, the delicate harmony of chemistry begins to fail. But this too is part of the cosmic rhythm, a reminder that even we are temporary patterns in the great flow of forgetting and remembrance. Life's fragility is not a flaw in the design, it is the design. The universe does not waste energy clinging to permanence. It moves in cycles, order to chaos, chaos to order, memory to oblivion, oblivion to rebirth. Even time itself bends to entropy. The arrow of time points forward because disorder increases. A cup shatters, never the reverse. A flame burns, never unburns. This one-way movement gives the illusion of progress, of aging, of history. But on a deeper level, entropy may be how the universe measures experience, how it records memory. Every act of decay marks a moment in the great unfolding, every loss an imprint on the field of existence. The fading of order is the writing of history. The universe remembers through its own forgetting. In this paradox lies a strange grace. If entropy is the tendency toward disorder, then life itself is resistance, a rebellion against cosmic amnesia. Every heartbeat, every spark of consciousness, every act of creation is a defiance of the pull toward chaos. Life gathers scattered particles into form, holds them briefly against the tide, and then releases them back into the current. It is not a battle to be won but a dance, creation and dissolution moving in endless rhythm. The flower blooms and dies, the wave rises and falls, the universe expands and cools. Memory and forgetting are partners in this cosmic choreography. Perhaps, then, forgetting is not loss but mercy. Imagine if the universe remembered everything forever, every collision, every pain, every heartbreak. Existence would suffocate beneath the weight of perfect recall. Forgetting allows renewal. The stars must burn out for new ones to be born. The mind must let go of dreams to wake again. Even the act of sleep, that nightly surrender to darkness, is a small rehearsal of cosmic forgetting. It is how consciousness resets, how creation refreshes itself. Entropy, in its quiet inevitability, teaches the most human lesson, that impermanence is sacred. To live is to participate in the universe's constant rewriting of itself. We are fleeting, yes, but our impermanence is not meaningless. It is the very reason we feel, create, love, and seek to understand. The knowledge that we will fade gives weight to our moments, fire to our art, urgency to our compassion. In the end, entropy is not the enemy of memory but its shadow, the other half of remembrance. The stars forget themselves so that planets can form. The universe dissolves so that consciousness can arise and wonder at its own fragility. And perhaps, one day when all light fades and the cosmos cools into silence, that too will not be the end. In the stillness after forgetting, something new will stir, a new expansion, a new spark, a new dream. Forgetting, then, is not the final act of the story, but the pause before its return. The universe exhales into oblivion only to inhale creation once more. Entropy is not death, it is the breath between memories, the necessary silence in the eternal song of existence. And in that silence, waiting patiently, lies the next remembrance. There is a haunting truth buried at the intersection of consciousness and physics. The more we look at reality, the more it seems to change beneath our gaze. The act of observation itself, the simple fact of awareness, appears to alter the nature of the universe. This is the enigma known as the observer's curse, a paradox at the heart of existence that blurs the line between the watcher and the watched, between mind and matter. It is the realization that to observe something is to touch it, to shape it, to leave an invisible fingerprint on the very fabric of being. In quantum mechanics, this paradox emerges in its purest form. A particle can exist in multiple states, a wave of possibilities, until it is measured. The instant it is observed, the wave collapses and one specific outcome becomes real. The famous double-slit experiment reveals this vividly. Electrons fired through two slits behave like waves, creating an interference pattern, until someone observes them. Under observation they behave like particles instead, choosing a single path as though conscious of being watched. Reality, it seems, refuses to reveal its true nature without an audience. This discovery shattered the foundations of classical science. For centuries, we believed that the universe existed independently of us, that it followed predictable laws, indifferent to human presence. But quantum physics whispered a radical new truth, that the observer is not separate from the observed. We are participants in creation, not spectators. The cosmos does not unfold on its own, it unfolds through consciousness. Every measurement, every act of awareness helps define the world we inhabit. What does it mean to live in such a universe? One that changes when we look at it. It means that reality is not fixed but relational. It depends on perspective. The world does not exist out there in isolation. It arises through interaction, through the meeting of awareness and energy. We do not simply see the universe, we co-create it. Each perception, each moment of observation, locks one version of reality into being while countless others fade into unmanifest potential. This is not mere philosophy, it is embedded in the mathematics of physics. The observer effect is not superstition but a measurable phenomenon. Observation changes probability. Consciousness, or something akin to it, is woven into the equations that describe matter. It is as if the universe itself needs to be seen to exist, as though existence is a mirror that only reflects when light strikes it. The universe is both stage and audience, performer and witness. We are the eyes through which the cosmos beholds itself. Yet there is both wonder and terror in this. If observation gives reality its shape, then how much of what we see is truly there, and how much is the echo of our own perception? Every scientific measurement, every personal experience, may be tinged by bias, not merely psychological but existential. Perhaps we never see the world as it is, but only as it becomes when we look at it. The truth may be that there is no objective world at all, only shared agreement between countless observers dreaming in synchrony. This curse, and gift, of observation defines the human condition. Our consciousness is not passive, it is creative. When we focus on something, an idea, a dream, a fear, we amplify it, collapsing potential into form. Attention is the currency of reality. What we look at grows stronger, what we ignore fades. Even in psychology this is true. The stories we tell ourselves become the lives we live. In physics, it may be the same on a universal scale. The cosmos itself responds to attention. And yet, there is danger in this realization. To know that our gaze shapes reality is to carry immense responsibility. Every act of awareness is an act of creation. Every thought, every belief, every emotion contributes to the energetic blueprint of the world. If we see only darkness, the universe darkens. If we look with wonder, the universe brightens. The observer's curse, then, is not punishment, it is accountability. It is the cosmic reminder that perception is participation. Some philosophers and mystics go further. They suggest that there is no distinction between observer and observed, that consciousness is the fundamental substrate of the universe, and matter is its expression. In this view, the universe is not made of stuff but of seeing. Every particle, every star, every living thing is an act of awareness taking form. The observer effect is not an anomaly, it is the most natural thing in existence. When you observe the world is observing itself through you. Ancient wisdom foresaw what modern science is only beginning to rediscover. The Hindu concept of Maya describes reality as a divine illusion, a cosmic play in which consciousness hides itself in form to experience the joy of recognition. In Buddhism, the observer and the observed are said to co-arise, inseparable like two sides of the same mirror. In Hermetic philosophy, the maxim reads, "As within, so without." These teachings all echo the same truth, that awareness and reality are two halves of one circle, forever creating and perceiving each other. And yet, even with this knowledge, the curse remains. For to observe is also to limit. When the wave collapses into a particle, infinite possibilities die so that one may live. Every act of attention is also an act of exclusion. We make the world real but smaller. The infinite potential of existence becomes a single thread in the tapestry. The universe loses a little of its mystery each time we demand certainty. That is the tragedy of awareness. To illuminate is also to erase shadow. In our pursuit of understanding, we are both creators and destroyers of mystery. The scientist who observes a phenomenon makes it measurable, predictable, repeatable, but also less infinite, less free. The artist, on the other hand, tries to see without dissecting, to witness without capturing, to remember the dream while awake. Both are necessary. One defines the world, the other keeps it alive. Perhaps the true wisdom lies not in resisting the observer's curse but in embracing it. To observe consciously, reverently, to look not as conquerors but as collaborators in creation. When we gaze at the stars, we are not intruding upon them, we are helping them exist. Our awareness completes their light, giving meaning to their ancient glow. The universe needs witnesses and we are those witnesses. The curse then transforms into a calling. Observation becomes communion. Awareness becomes creation. Every glance, every breath, every heartbeat becomes a note in the cosmic symphony of perception. To see the world is to give it life. To love the world is to sustain it. And maybe that is the ultimate secret of existence, that the universe was never meant to exist alone. It requires eyes to see, minds to wonder, hearts to feel. Without observation it remains pure potential, a sleeping dream. But through awareness, it awakens. Through us, it remembers itself. The observer's curse is not a punishment, it is a privilege, the price and the purpose of consciousness. We are not trapped by our perception, we are entrusted with it. For the moment we look upon reality, it becomes real. And in that act, we too are made real, reflections in the infinite mirror, the universe observing itself through the fragile miracle of our gaze. In the deep static of existence, hidden beneath what appears to be chaos, there are whispers, faint, repeating patterns that reveal the hidden logic of the universe. To the untrained eye, the cosmos seems like a storm of randomness, galaxies scattered without symmetry, particles colliding without purpose, the noise of creation echoing endlessly. But if you look closer, if you listen deeply, you begin to see the structure within the noise. Order glimmers beneath entropy, rhythm beneath confusion. These are the patterns in the noise, the subtle signatures of a universe that remembers through repetition. Everywhere in nature, patterns emerge. The spiral of galaxies and hurricanes, the branching of trees and veins, the oscillation of heartbeats and tides. These repetitions are not coincidence, they are memory made visible. Energy, though seemingly chaotic, carries with it an instinct for organization. From the swirl of a nebula to the pattern of thought in a human mind, the same mathematical fingerprints appear. Fractals, Fibonacci sequences, golden ratios, self-similar geometries repeating across scale. It is as though the universe speaks one silent language, a code of proportion and rhythm written into all things. Chaos theory describes this hidden intelligence. It tells us that even systems that appear random, the weather, the economy, the firing of neurons, follow deep, deterministic patterns governed by initial conditions. The famous butterfly effect illustrates this perfectly. The flap of a butterfly's wings in one part of the world may set off a chain of events that leads to a hurricane elsewhere. Small causes, magnified through time, shape vast effects. Nothing in the universe is truly isolated. Every motion echoes, every vibration influences the whole. What looks like noise is actually an intricate web of interdependence, the memory of every motion written into the next. To see patterns in chaos is to glimpse the mind of creation. Consider how waves crash upon a shore, never identical yet always rhythmic. No two snowflakes are alike, but each follows a geometry of six-fold symmetry. Lightning bolts, river deltas, lung bronchi, all share the same branching design, following invisible rules that connect heaven and earth. The universe does not create randomly, it improvises with memory. Every form that exists carries the echo of a form that came before. Every event is an iteration of something ancient and ongoing. This truth extends beyond nature into the human mind. The brain, too, operates on patterns. Neurons fire in rhythms, creating mental harmonies and dissonances that give rise to thought, emotion, and perception. Memories are not stored as static images, but as energetic patterns, frequencies that can be reactivated and recombined. When you recall a memory, your brain reconstructs its pattern, replaying its original rhythm of electrical activity. Even consciousness, that elusive awareness of being, may be the resonance of countless neural oscillations vibrating in sync, a self-organizing pattern of energy remembering itself. In a sense, you are a pattern within patterns, a living algorithm in the cosmic code. Your DNA is a set of instructions written in molecular rhythm, for letters repeating in endless variations to form life. Your heartbeat syncs with the Earth's magnetic pulse. Your sleep cycles mirror the rotation of the planet. Your breath follows the same ratios as waves breaking on the shore. You are not separate from the noise of the universe, you are its music made local. When you think, feel, or act, you participate in the unfolding pattern that connects galaxies to grains of sand. And yet, the beauty of this design lies in its imperfection. The universe is not a sterile machine repeating identical cycles. It is alive because of its unpredictability. Within the patterns there is always noise, the element of chance, the breath of freedom. Without randomness there would be no evolution, no creativity, no growth. Noise allows the pattern to change, to learn, to remember differently. It is the contrast that gives meaning to repetition, the silence between notes that makes music. The universe balances on this edge between order and chaos, between memory and forgetting, between pattern and noise. In data science and mathematics, hidden patterns can be revealed by filtering out the noise, by finding correlations that at first seem invisible. But what if the noise itself carries meaning? What if randomness is not disorder, but a deeper level of organization we have not yet learned to read? Perhaps the universe hides its secrets in the static, encoding information and fluctuations that appear meaningless only because we lack the language to interpret them. What we call random may simply be complexity beyond comprehension, the whisper of a higher memory. Physicists studying quantum fields have found that even the vacuum, what we once thought of as nothingness, is not empty. It seethes with virtual particles popping in and out of existence, creating a constant hum of energy known as quantum foam. Out of this apparent noise, structure arises: matter, light, gravity, space, time. The universe builds order from uncertainty, coherence from fluctuation. This is not a coincidence. It is the deepest truth of existence. The cosmos thrives on paradox, stability born from instability, pattern born from noise. In human life, this paradox mirrors our emotional reality. Our days often feel chaotic, random events, sudden losses, fleeting joys, yet when we look back, a pattern emerges. The coincidences, the encounters, the choices that seemed insignificant form a hidden geometry of purpose. The noise of our experiences becomes the melody of meaning. Memory too works this way, fractured, nonlinear, fragmented, yet when woven together it tells a coherent story. The human mind, like the universe, finds order in chaos because both are built from the same fabric of energetic intelligence. To find patterns in the noise is to awaken to the consciousness that permeates all things. It is to realize that the universe is not indifferent or mechanical, but expressive and remembering. The patterns we see are not just mathematical, they are emotional, spiritual, living. The rhythm of a heartbeat, the orbit of a moon, the rotation of a galaxy, all pulse with the same creative energy. Each is a reflection of the other, a fractal of memory repeating across infinite scales. Perhaps that is what intuition truly is, the mind's ability to recognize patterns before reason catches up. It is how consciousness remembers its own language. When we experience synchronicity, those uncanny coincidences that seem too meaningful to be chance, it may be the universe showing us a glimpse of its deeper order, its hidden connectivity. Synchronicity is not luck, it is recognition, a moment when the pattern beneath the noise becomes visible. And just as nature writes memory in fractals, we write it in our lives. Every choice we make ripples outward, echoing in ways we cannot see. Every action becomes part of the cosmic interference pattern, adding to the grand tapestry of creation. We are both the artists and the brushstrokes, both the waves and the noise. In the end, the search for pattern is the search for meaning, the human attempt to read the mind of the universe. And perhaps the greatest revelation is that the universe itself is doing the same, endlessly generating, dissolving, rediscovering its own order within the static of being. The noise is not the opposite of harmony, it is the space in which harmony is born. So the next time you look at the stars, their random scatter across the sky, remember, the chaos is only apparent. Beneath that vast glitter lies a perfect geometry, a memory written in light and distance. The universe does not forget its design, it only hides it in plain sight, encoded in the noise. The pattern is always there, waiting to be seen, not by the eyes alone, but by the awareness that listens to the silence between the stars. Since the dawn of thought, humanity has searched for one unifying truth, a single thread that ties together all the mysteries of existence. Scientists call it the unified field theory, mystics call it the God equation. The idea that beneath all forces, all phenomena, all forms of energy and matter, there lies one elegant law, one infinite intelligence from which everything arises. It is the holy grail of physics, the whispered dream of philosophy, the ultimate bridge between science and spirit. And though no one has yet solved it, we can feel it, a harmony vibrating beneath the noise, a structure holding the chaos, a memory connecting all things. At its heart, the God equation is not just about numbers or formulas, it is about understanding why the universe behaves the way it does. Gravity binds planets and stars, electromagnetism powers life and light, the strong and weak nuclear forces shape the atoms that make up our world. Yet each of these, though seemingly separate, might be facets of one deeper force, a singular pulse that fractured into four at the birth of time. Like a beam of white light refracting into colors, the original unity of energy split into complexity during the Big Bang. The universe, in all its beauty and chaos, may simply be the unfolding of that first separation, the one becoming the many, the infinite remembering itself through diversity. For over a century, the greatest minds have pursued this hidden law. Einstein spent the final decades of his life trying to merge gravity with electromagnetism, to show that space, time, and energy are expressions of the same fundamental fabric. Later, quantum physicists and string theorists took up the search, proposing that everything in existence is not made of particles, but of tiny vibrating strings of energy, one-dimensional loops oscillating in multiple dimensions. Each vibration corresponds to a particle, just as each note of a violin string corresponds to a tone. The universe, then, is not a machine but a symphony, matter and energy as music played by the strings of creation. But beyond equations, the search for the God equation is also a spiritual journey. For what physicists seek in mathematics, mystics have long found in silence. The ancient Upanishads of India spoke of Brahman, the infinite consciousness from which all things emerge. Taoist sages described the Tao, the way of harmony flowing through all forms. In the language of mysticism, the unified field is awareness itself, the still point from which every vibration, every wave of existence, arises. Science and spirituality, it seems, are approaching the same truth from opposite directions. One through analysis, the other through experience. Imagine that everything, the stars, your body, your thoughts, are waves in the same ocean. The ocean itself is invisible, infinite, calm. What we see as separate things are merely the surface ripples. Every heartbeat, every motion, every spark of consciousness is a vibration of that same universal field. The God equation, if ever written, would not just describe the universe, it would be the universe, a mirror in which existence finally recognizes itself. The formula would not only unify physics but consciousness itself. It would reveal that matter and mind are not separate, but two aspects of one timeless intelligence. This idea is not abstract. It is already whispering through the patterns of nature. The ratio of galaxies, the spiral of shells, the resonance of atoms, all obey mathematical constants that repeat across scales. The fine structure constant, pi, the golden ratio, Planck's constant. They are the cosmic signatures of order, the hidden rhythm of reality. Even chaos, when studied deeply, resolves into pattern. There is no true randomness, only complexity too intricate for our limited minds to perceive. Somewhere within this cosmic mathematics lies the God equation, not written in chalk on a blackboard but etched into the vibration of existence itself. When we contemplate this possibility, awe overtakes fear. For if all things are one, then there is no separation, not between galaxies, not between species, not between you and the stars. Every atom in your body vibrates with the memory of the Big Bang. Every photon of light that touches your skin was born from the same cosmic fire that ignited creation. You are not in the universe. You are the universe, momentarily aware of itself. The God equation, then, is not something we must discover, it is something we must remember. Theoretical physics offers glimpses of this remembrance. In quantum field theory, every particle is seen as an excitation of a field that permeates space, invisible, omnipresent, unified. What we call empty space is in fact alive with energy, seething with virtual particles flickering in and out of being. Matter is simply a slow vibration of this field. Energy is a faster one. Form and formlessness are the same thing viewed at different speeds. The unifying law we seek is not distant. It pulses beneath every breath, every heartbeat, every spark of thought. Even consciousness may be part of this unified field. Physicists like David Bohm suggested that the universe has an implicate order, a hidden dimension in which all things are interconnected and instantaneous. To Bohm, consciousness was not separate from matter but an aspect of the same underlying reality. What we experience as thought could be the way the universe folds back to observe itself, a self-reflective property of the field. The God equation, then, might not only describe external reality but internal awareness, the physics of the soul. There is a profound humility in this vision. For all our equations, our telescopes, our colliders, we are still children staring into infinity, trying to translate the divine language of the cosmos. We search for the formula that binds all things, yet that formula may already be humming within us, in the silent rhythm of our own existence. The heart beats in time with the Earth's magnetic field, brainwaves resonate with cosmic frequencies. Our biology is not separate from the laws of the universe, it is those laws made flesh. Perhaps this is why the greatest scientists speak in tones of reverence. Einstein once said, "The most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible." That very comprehensibility, the fact that mathematics describes the cosmos so precisely, may be the proof of unity itself. Our minds can recognize order because they are expressions of that order. The God equation is not just out there, waiting to be written. It is also inside us, encoded in our awareness, reflected in our capacity to wonder. One day we may find it, that single formula, that one elegant expression that explains gravity, light, time, and consciousness in a single breath. And when that moment comes, the discovery will not merely be scientific. It will be existential. We will realize that what we have called God, Source, or unified field, are not different things but the same thing described in different languages, mathematics and mysticism finally shaking hands across eternity. And yet, perhaps the true revelation is that the God equation can never be fully written, because the universe is still evolving, still creating, still dreaming itself forward. Any equation we write will always be a translation, beautiful but incomplete. The real formula is not in symbols but in motion, not in theory but in experience. It is the heartbeat of stars, the vibration of atoms, the flow of thought, the silence between breaths. If the universe could speak, the God equation would be its language, a song rather than a sentence, infinite in tone and meaning. Every wave, every light, every consciousness would be one note in that divine melody. And perhaps, when all beings awaken to this truth, we will realize that the equation has always been before us, simple and absolute. Everything is one. One is everything. That is the God equation, the formula that needs no symbols, no proof, no discovery. It already exists in every photon, every heartbeat, every act of love. It is not written in the language of mathematics, but in the vibration of being. The universe hums it constantly, and when we finally learn to listen, we will hear the same eternal sound. The frequency of unity, the pulse of creation, the memory of the infinite remembering itself. Everything that exists is built from a single ancient current, an endless ocean of energy that has never stopped moving. From the first flash of creation to the light now shining in your eyes, that energy flows unbroken. It shifts, transforms, expands and contracts, but it never dies. Remembers? Every atom, every photon, every flicker of thought carries the history of all that came before it. The light from distant galaxies that touches your skin tonight is billions of years old, a messenger from the beginning of time. The water you drink once drifted in primordial oceans. The carbon in your blood was forged in the hearts of dead stars. Existence is not new, it is recycled memory vibrating endlessly through form. You are not separate from this story. You are its continuation. Energy does not forget. When stars collapse, when planets fall, when life ends, nothing is erased. The patterns of vibration that defined each existence are written into the field of reality, a cosmic memory that holds everything. Every sound, every heartbeat, every pulse of light leaves an imprint in the invisible structure of spacetime. Like ripples spreading on an eternal sea, these vibrations merge, creating the vast and subtle harmony we call the universe. Even consciousness follows this law. Thought is energy, measurable, radiant, alive. Every idea sparks a wave that radiates outward, interacting with the field. The universe is not a cold machine. It is awareness in motion, learning and remembering through the patterns it creates. Each mind is a temporary expression of this vast intelligence, a localized echo of universal memory observing itself through human experience. To remember is to exist. Memory gives identity to energy, it is how the universe recognizes itself. From the first flash of the Big Bang to the quiet hum of your heartbeat, every vibration is linked. What we call life is the flow of memory through matter. What we call death is only its transformation. Energy never stops, it simply changes shape, finding new ways to remember. Look closely at light, it never truly disappears. It travels, stretching and softening, carrying the imprint of its origin forever. The same is true for us. Every emotion we feel, every action we take sends out waves of energy that never vanish. They travel across time, influencing the unseen fabric of existence. The universe is a great recorder, and everything that ever was remains stored within its frequency. This truth reveals a deeper beauty, that nothing is truly lost. The laughter of a child, the whisper of a tree, the final breath of a dying star, all continue as vibrations within the eternal field. The cosmos remembers everything, not through images or words, but through resonance. The pattern of energy is the language of remembrance, and creation itself is how the universe keeps its diary. Science and spirituality meet here. Physics tells us that energy cannot be destroyed. Mysticism tells us that spirit never dies. Both describe the same truth in different tongues, that life is continuity, and memory is the soul of existence. When we die, the energy that once animated us returns to the whole, carrying our experiences as subtle imprints within the field. The body dissolves, but the pattern remains, woven into the living fabric of all that is. To understand this is to see existence differently. Every moment is sacred, every action eternal. What you do, feel, and create will ripple forever, encoded in the memory of the universe. You are not a fleeting spark in the dark, You are the universe remembering itself through motion, thought, and light. The energy that remembers everything is not outside you. It is you. It breathes through your cells, flows through your thoughts, and continues long after your form has changed. You are part of its infinite journey, the eternal pulse of creation, the memory that never ends. When the music of the cosmos fades, what remains is not absence, but silence, a living stillness beneath all motion. After creation's roar comes the pause, the breath the universe takes before remembering itself. This silence is not death, it is the womb of existence, the quiet foundation upon which all sound and light are born. In the depths of space, where stars burn out and galaxies drift apart, silence reigns. Yet it is not empty. Even in the vacuum, invisible particles flicker in and out of being. The universe hums quietly, like a sleeping giant dreaming of its own beginning. This stillness is the memory of creation, the heartbeat beneath all noise. Human beings carry that same silence inside them. Between thoughts, between breaths, there is a moment of still awareness, the same quiet that once preceded the first light. When we close our eyes, when words and motion fall away, we return to that eternal pause. In it, the self dissolves and what remains is pure being. Silence teaches us the rhythm of existence. Without it, sound would have no shape. Without stillness, motion would have no meaning. Every explosion, every heartbeat, every act of life requires a pause, a space for energy to gather and begin again. One day, when the stars dim and the galaxies fade, the universe will return to this silence, not as an ending but as rest. Within that stillness, memory will condense into potential, waiting to awaken once more. The silence after creation is not the void, it is the promise. It is the universe listening to its own breath, preparing for the next heartbeat of eternity. Everything returns to its source. The stars that burn, the minds that dream, all spiral back to the beginning. Existence is not a straight line but a circle, a rhythm of birth, transformation, and rebirth. The universe does not end, it repeats, remembering itself in every form. Across ages and cultures, this truth endures. The Hindus call it samsara, the Stoics the cosmic fire, the physicists the big bounce. Energy never dies, it changes shape, cycling endlessly through time. The atoms in your body once belonged to stars, the thoughts in your mind echo ancient dreams. Each of us is a returning note in the universe's infinite song. Entropy pulls everything apart, but only so creation can begin again. The silence after death becomes the breath before birth. From ashes rise galaxies, from endings beginnings unfold. The eternal return is not punishment but renewal, the universe rewriting itself with the same energy, the same memory, in new and beautiful ways. Human lives mirror this rhythm. Every fall leads to rise, every ending to awakening. The lessons we forget return in new forms. Love lost becomes love rediscovered. History loops like a spiral, never identical, always evolving. Through repetition, the cosmos refines itself. Through return, it becomes wiser. When the stars fade and the universe grows cold, energy will gather once more, a single spark collapsing into light, birthing another dawn. And somewhere in that reborn world, life will open its eyes and wonder again. The eternal return is the heartbeat of existence, the pulse that never ceases. You are not lost in time, you are part of its rhythm. The universe is not ending, it is remembering, breathing, and beginning once more.